Hello and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're joining from. Thank you for joining today's Ciena Solutions Challenge student panel discussion. During this session, we will be hearing from student teams from Canada, Colombia, Peru, and the United States. These teams participated in the Ciena Solutions Challenge and were awarded a sustainability award that will go towards scaling and sustaining their innovations. Before we begin, I would like to remind you all that attendees, as you enter, you are muted upon entry for today's discussion. However, you have the ability to engage in today's discussion using the chat box. At the end of the presentation, we will have a few minutes reserved for questions and answers from the audience and the panels. Additionally, for everyone who's attending, you have the ability to enable closed captioning or live transcription during today's webinar. In the meeting controls toolbar on your Zoom platform, just click the show captions option or icon. And if you would like to enable the closed captions feature in your speaking language, just be sure to click the up arrow icon, click your speaking language, and you should be able to see your language transcribed. All right, so since launching in 2021, more than 730 educators from schools and youth organizations across 77 countries have engaged with the Ciena Solutions Challenge. It's a global design challenge by Digital Promise and Ciena that invites middle and high school students globally to use the challenge-based learning framework to design solutions that address the sustainable development goals within their communities. So if today is your first time hearing about the Ciena Solutions Challenge, you're in luck. You will hear directly from the Ciena Solutions Challenge awardees. You'll hear about their creative projects, their process that it took to create their ideas, and their future plans to sustain and scale their ideas. So before we hear from panelists, we'd love to know who's joining us today. We would like to welcome our Ciena employees who are also joining today's panel. So we have a few of the volunteers that actually participated in the review portion of the challenge. So we just want to welcome them and thank you all so much for just providing great feedback to these teams. We know that they have found them so useful. So if you are welcome, we welcome you all to share your name and where you're located in the chat box. And just a message for the audience, as you listen to today's presentations, we invite you to share your thoughts, your observations, or maybe even your questions by using some of the prompts that you see on the screen as you kind of listen to each of these great presentations. So you can share maybe something you learned, what maybe there's something that was brought up for you based on a presentation that you heard from. Was there something unique or inspiring that you found? We just would love to hear some feedback and some engagement from you all. So each of the student teams that you'll hear today addressed a local issue in their communities by leveraging their creative skill sets and their access to technology and resources around them. From using nature-based climate solutions to improve soil, to reducing waste from coffee grounds and reusing it to create eco-friendly products, these projects showcase the talents of youth creators and changemakers who have an interest in collaborating with their peers to develop a product or an idea that will positively impact the world around them. So we're really excited to hear from each of these great teams today. And so without further ado, I'm going to introduce our first panelist, Fisher for the Future team, coming straight out of Ottawa, Canada, at Fisher Park Summit Alternative Public School. So I'll stop sharing, and team from Canada, you all are welcome to share your screen.
Fisher for the Future. Fisher for the Future is a social entrepreneurship project aimed at helping with the global goals 2 and 13. We partnered with 2 local charities to help support their initiatives related to the global goals. Every part of this project was student-led, from choosing the global goals, choosing the products, picking the charities, sourcing materials, etc.
One of our products was Seeds for Success. It's a type of eco seed paper that's eco-friendly and made from post-consumer materials embedded with wildflower, herb, or vegetable seeds. When you plant the paper in a pot of soil or outside of your garden, the seeds in the paper will germinate and grow into plants. We made these using paper from the recycling bins in our school and blending them with water. Students used the Cricut machine to create a sticker for our product. It's the green that you see below.
Hey team, so
Our second product is a starter plant pot, and it's a mini plant box with seeds that you could plant to grow plants such as basil, thyme, rosemary, and dill. We designed the logos using the Cricut, and this facilitates the SDG Zero Hunger and Climate Action.
One of our other products is beeswax wraps, which are an eco-friendly alternative to plastic wrap. We created Hard and Thrive, a package of a small, medium, and large beeswax. We made the wraps by using beeswax, jojoba oil, and pine resin purchased at a zero waste store. We visited different classes in the school to promote the use of beeswax wraps.
Future plans. Our future plans are to continue with the project and hope that it will grow. We will also continue learning about entrepreneurship skills. We are going to continue doing our part for the environment and help the future generations with our projects.
We learned about sustainability by creating and designing sustainable projects. We also learned a variety of entrepreneurial skills by ensuring products were ethically sourced, designing business plans, and creating logos and product names. We learned about different SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, and chose two climate action and zero hunger to work on. We then used the profit generated by our project to support local charities supporting the SDGs we chose.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
thank you all. Thank you all so much. That was wonderful. If you guys have any questions about Fisher for Futures projects, feel free to engage with them in the chat box. So for our next presentation, we have our student, we have our educator, Ramón from Colombia, who is going to be sharing more about Cafe Lab to balance the coffee ecosystem. And unfortunately, his student, Tomás, is sick today, so he's going to be speaking on his behalf.
Thank you. Thank you. In Spanish, please. Es un gusto conocerlos. Nice to meet you. Quiero presentarles a Cafe Lab Colombia, un proyecto de sostenibilidad ambiental y tejido social to balance the coffee ecosystem. ¿Dónde estamos ubicados? Primero que todo, estamos ubicados en Colombia. I'm from Colombia, the best coffee in the world. El mejor café del mundo está en Colombia y está en nuestra escuela, Montessori High School. Esa es nuestra institución de high school. El principio del modelo basado en desafíos cumple 3 fases. La primera de ellas justamente es comprometer e investigar. Quiero mostrarles este grano de café, of coffee, ¿sí? ¿Y qué se esconde detrás de una taza de café? Detrás de una taza de café que nos consumimos se esconde un problema ambiental enorme. Esta fotografía que ustedes pueden observar allí, solamente se aprovecha el 5% del grano, solamente el 5%. El 95% se convierte en residuo, que generalmente se arroja a los cuerpos de agua. Y lo que hacemos nosotros, pueden observar ustedes las imágenes, son residuos de café, ¿sí? Y generalmente se arrojan a los cuerpos de agua o se exponen al medio ambiente. Lo que buscamos con los estudiantes, con nuestros estudiantes, es comprometerlos primero a que reconozcan un problema en su entorno, en su comunidad, un contexto cafetero. Y desde el actuar, es decir, desde el hacer, lo que hacemos es, a través de los STEAM Chain, a través del principio de desafío, entonces lo que hacemos es crear unas líneas de acción que nos permitan reincorporar los residuos del café a través de líneas de acción, como pueden observar food, ¿cierto? Pueden observar de personal care, ¿cierto? De energías renovables, de recursos agrícolas y de materiales, reincorporando justamente a la vida productiva estos subproductos de Circular Economic. Aquí tenemos nuestros estudiantes desarrollando ideas de emprendimiento a través de los residuos del café, briquetas, energías renovables, celdas galvánicas, ¿cierto? Jabones exfoliantes, bebidas aromáticas, wine, vinos, ¿cierto? Silla, the chair, the table, ¿cierto? En elementos de residuos de café. Y nuestro proyecto ha impactado lo social, lo económico y lo ambiental. Lo social, 165,000 habitantes de Pitalito, de donde estamos nosotros, de nuestra institución y de todo el municipio, se ven beneficiados de este proyecto. Desde lo económico, estamos reincorporando a la vida productiva 5 residuos del café. Estamos hablando más de 20,000 hectáreas de café a través de ideas de emprendimiento. Y desde lo económico, estamos creando proyectos innovadores para los estudiantes y sus familias que le permitan obtener un recurso adicional. Thank you. Si quieren más información, pueden visitarnos en Café Lat Colombia. Están nuestras redes y muchísimas gracias. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Gracias, Ramón, por su predicación.
Gracias. Presentation. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So thank you, Ramon. We are going to move on to our next presentation. And so we have the aquaponics team feeding the world from confined spaces. We have our educator, Jose Gonzalez, and his students from Davis Middle School in Compton, California, here in the United States. So I'll stop sharing. And
thank you so much, Carissa, and also I want to thank my assistant, Miss Penuela, who's our coach and has been inspiring all of us. So I'm going to pass it on to the aquaponics team, and Thuy, the show's yours.
So before we had ever started our aquaponics project, we had our Mars simulation project. And a vital part of the Mars project was agriculture. Specifically, we needed a sustainable and innovative method of harvesting and planting. And this was an ideal solution to our agricultural dilemma, considering its sustainable properties. As I previously mentioned, an aquaponics system is an innovative and sustainable alternative to traditional agriculture. And some of the major benefits are less carbon emissions, less waste of water, no harmful chemicals or pesticides, and it requires very minimal space. A very vital part of the aquaponics system are the fish, which are in this tank right here. And part of the aquaponics system, which keeps it running, is a process called the nitrification process, which means that the fish produce waste and ammonia, and then the ammonia is broken down by the waste and turned into nitrites. Following this breakdown process, the nitrites are converted into nitrates, and that new water is fed into the grow beds, which hold the plants for sustenance. And throughout this process, we all worked together collaboratively as a team, the entire tech team. We learned how to collaborate our ideas and use critical thinking and work cohesively as a team, as well as using this project and what we learned throughout the process to benefit our community utilizing STEM and using this opportunity to apply STEM to the real world, whether that be through construction or critical thinking or problem solving.
We also made it a point to ensure that the system aligns with the United Nations goals, specifically the goals 2 and 13, which entails that we combat world hunger and take affirmative action against climate change. Thanks to aquaponics, sustainable properties, we're able to imagine and work towards a progressive future involving innovative and sustainable aquaculture. This being said, our hopes for the future regarding the aquaponics project for the system to give to the entire communities. Food is something that should be readily available no matter what. And thanks to the aquaponics system, we're able to give back to its communities. The aquaponics system mass produces organic food in a sustainable manner that reduces carbon emissions and water waste while simultaneously giving to the community.
As for the future plans for our aquaponics system, we hope to expand and spread awareness. So by expansion, we mean, someday we hope that this project can go further than Davis or Compton and then LA and so on and so forth. And then awareness, just spreading awareness about the different methods of sustainable agriculture and sustainable living. As for inspiration and incentive, we hope to inspire other young people in STEM to bring their projects to life and benefit their community. And the incentive being benefiting your community and your society and being an active member in your community and actively bettering it, which goes hand in hand with encouragement and motivation. And then for modification and improvement, refinement and stability, we hope to continue to have this project grow as the years go on. So, whatever needs to be modified or improved, we're constantly trying to improve it and add on to it. Just make sure that it reaches its full capabilities, not just as a project, but as something that can continue to benefit our community for however long it lasts. Now I'll be transitioning to our hydroponics project.
Hello, my name is Jacqueline Zarate,
My name is Delila Salceda.
and we were in charge of the hydroponics. The hydroponics is quite different compared to the aquaponics. This is because instead of using fish waste to grow plants, we use nutrient solution directly mixed with water. Therefore, our plants would have their roots exposed, which would allow the plants to grow. Most of the time, a garden would take up much space and area, but building it in a vertical position would take up much less space. A hydroponics also doesn't use soil. Therefore, there would be less pesticides and it won't hurt the environment as much.
Something I learned from our project is that you should always be patient and take your time, because if you try to rush, you can run into some problems and issues. My partner and I tried to rush the process and we messed up the molds of where the plants are supposed to be placed. Due to that, we had to restart our whole project. Something I hope for in the future for my project is for more people to use it because it fits in confined spaces. A United Nations goal that aligns with our project is number 12 because it talks about consumptions and productions, and that's exactly what our project does. Our project would also be using 10 times less the amount of water as field crops.
Wonderful. Thank you guys so much.
I am Brando.
I'm Caleb. And I'm Damion. And we are Mobile Aqua Farm. We will be talking about 4 components today, which are that the truck is EV powered, it has an aquaponics system, and it's eco-friendly with lots of technology. Brando, would you like to elaborate?
One of our main components of our truck is that it's EV powered. This truck runs on electric power and solar power. Our truck is also eco-friendly because it emits no greenhouse gases, which is 100% eco-friendly.
Well, our truck also has a mobile aquaponics system, which is one of the main things of this. This mobile aquaponics system uses fish waste to fertilize plants anywhere on the go. And we put it inside of our truck so that we can take it to any place you need. We also used a programming app called Arduino for anything you see in here in this truck. This programming app was able to code lots of things, for example, the lights, our water pump, and even a lot more stuff. Damion, could you also talk about the virtual reality? Yes, we use a virtual reality app called CoSpaces to better explain our truck. This virtual reality app is a programming app where once you make your virtual world, you're able to scan it like a QR code. Thank you, Damion. Also, our truck has many goals. These goals have three main goals. The first one is the UN Sustainability Goal 2. This goal is to reduce and even hopefully stop world hunger using this truck.
Another one of the goals that align with our project is United Nations Sustainability Goal 7. Pollution is a big problem in our world, so we hope that our truck, being EV powered, will help out solve this problem by using solar panels as energy.
The vision for our truck is that it's a revolutionary change for the world and ends up stopping the world from climate change and having all truck drivers change to electric powered vehicles. This also will help with world hunger and stop world hunger for all people. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. That was wonderful. Thank you all so much. That was great. So we are going to move on to our team from Peru, Bring Men Back to Nature. And we have educator Carlos and his students from Colegio de Ciencias. So I'm going to stop sharing, and Gerson, if you all are ready to share your screen, feel free to go ahead.
Can you see?
Yes.
Hello everyone, the Green Roof Project team here. I am Mariana.
Hello, I'm Gerson from Peru.
So yeah.
We will present our project. The name is Bring Man Back to Nature. Well, cities should be sustainable. That means we must grow our own food, use less energy, and provide a living space for the community, a real greener city. And we choose this theme or challenge since at school we have a green roof, which can be the space for the habitable community of the future. Goal 11 of SDG, the Sustainable Development Goals, says, create safe, affordable, and resilient cities with green and culturally inspiring living conditions. The world is increasingly urban. Nowadays, more people live in cities, and they have to be fed by people who live in rural areas. Cities not only consume food, but also energy, which is why the temperature in cities is higher than in their surroundings. This is called heat island. And on the other hand, cities are sources of other types of pollution, from noise to garbage, and that disconnection between the people and the nature is related to physical and mental illness. All these effects lead us to the question of how we can bring nature back to men.
And next slide, please. And that's why we were inspired to do the Green Roof Project, to bring nature back to men, with the ultimate goal of bringing more green areas in highly urbanized cities. And just so you understand, and the Green Roof is a garden on the top floor of our school on a flat roof. And the structure of the school building is especially designed to have a green roof, as you can see in the pictures. Plus special filters and plastics were implemented for its constructions, and a lot of soil.
We are also trying to implement the drip irrigation system, as you can see in the picture, using drip irrigation valves and hoses. Periodically, we have to check if the drip irrigation system is working properly and there are no water leaks. Additionally, for now, the drip irrigation system is manual, so we have to activate it every morning depending on the weather, sorry. And our ultimate goal is to automate irrigation based on the plant's needs, weather conditions, ambient temperature, soil moisture, among other factors.
And the green roof is our laboratory where we experiment with planting and harvesting different types of vegetables, and in a natural way, obviously, and without synthetic fertilizers. For example, we started planting radishes and lettuce, carrots, and which we obtained good results after a few attempts. So we're trying and experimenting with new techniques such as the technique of seedlings, which we sow in small pots, and then with a certain measure, the plants are transplanted to the green roof. This technique we apply with tomatoes, cauliflowers, and we're trying with Thai basils. In the slide, you can see some pictures. Thank you.
Thank you for hearing.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much. So we are going to move on to our final team. Let me just get my slide back together. So we have our final team coming from Colorado in the United States. From Peak to Peak High School, we have our tree team, micro remediation team. So you all are welcome to share your screen and begin your presentation.
Okay. All right. Hello and good afternoon or good morning to anyone. We are at Peak High School, and my name is Miriam.
I'm Penelope. And I'm Josephine. So our central question was, how can we use nature-based climate solutions to solve for environmental inequity in Colorado?
So for some background information, we have very poor soil in Colorado, partially due to the Marshall Fire, where we lost thousands of trees. So less wealthy communities lack these trees, and heat islands have begun developing.
Our sustainability goal would be the climate action, and we plan to use this sustainability goal all around our campus and in our project.
So our big idea was to plant native forests in order to combat climate change through a Milwaukee tree forest, which is where we plant a bunch of trees close together and then they compete, and this allows the trees to grow up to 10 times as fast.
We had a variety of different organizations that would help us with our project, including Cool Boulder and Play Boulder, while we're the Tree Trust company.
So we brought everyone together from all of the businesses that we worked with, as well as some schools within our district, in order to share what we have done and to help them start with their journey of planting trees in their own communities.
So what is a tree summit, or what we hosted? It's an annual event empowering young people to connect with community experts to reverse heat islands, create biodiversity, improve air, and support mental health by planting and sustaining trees in Boulder County.
Our first step was the tree ideation. We first chose a site that would best fit our dream ideas.
We used mycelium to create a big science experiment within our school. So we had some control plants and some plants that had the mycelium in it in order to take data on this.
Another step that we've taken was called soil lasagna, which is a collection of cardboard, mycelium, and mulch, which have continuous layers on top of each other. This creates like a nutrition source for the trees and other plants to use from.
So we worked with students from our school as well as other volunteers to plant 2 Milwaukee mini forests just in our school campus. We currently have a website that we're sharing continuous results of our data that we collect at our trees and our site right now. So you could check that website out if you see any of our data.
So as the school is changing, like Miriam said, we're publishing that data, and this will be available through QR codes that we will put out there on metal plaques so that anyone within our entire community will be able to look at the data.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Able to have so much teamwork in building all of our projects. It's everything of our project took a lot of hard work, and I think that without any of our teamwork, any of our teammates that were under help, I think we could have never finished it by ourselves. So I think that's one of the things I'm most proud of our projects. And if I could start working on the project from the beginning, I think that I would probably try to have more communication personally for our certain project of the mobile aquaponics stuff. We tried to do a lot of when building it, we tried to do a lot of parts, and we were trying to do stuff doing multitasking, but since we didn't have much communication in the beginning, it gave us a hard time sometimes. So I think you should communicate a lot with your teammates and mostly never give up on anything you have. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Well, in the case of the green roof, I feel just harvested more seeds than last year and experimenting and learning new techniques.
Yeah, learning new
Yeah,
techniques.
and also implement the automatic irrigation system.
Very cool. So if any of you could start working on your project from the beginning, say, you know, if you had an opportunity to start over, or maybe if you know someone that might be interested in working on something new that hasn't been created before, maybe what advice would you give them to start on this kind of journey? And this could be for anyone.
I think if we were to start working on our project again, we would tell ourselves that our community has been really helpful because we ended up being able to work with a lot of businesses that really helped us get to where we are today.
Yes, very cool. Definitely leaning on your community. It's a big piece. Anyone else?
So to answer the second question, I think if we were to start working on our project from the beginning for this aquaponics project, if I had to give myself any piece of advice, I'd probably just tell myself to have more patience and, like Caleb said, practice communication more with our team, just so that everything works a lot more smoothly, and you don't have to rush everything. It's going to work at its own pace, whether or not you rush it or not. So I think that's a pretty decent piece of advice. And then, like Peak to Peak said, it's okay to rely on your community. And I'm actually really glad that we had our entire team here to help and assist with this project because it is such a big project. Yeah, so I would probably just tell myself to have more patience and practice communication more. Thank you.
One thing I would tell myself when working on the project is not only slow down, but think of what the community needs. Because if we were to make an aquaponic system in a community full of them, it would make no difference. Honestly, I'll tell myself to look around take a walk, look at how the world is being ran, and build something off that. Elaborate, brainstorm, use the design process, but anything you need to get ready for to make your project. And when it comes to slowing down, if you work too fast, you're like the hydroponic said, you would have to restart and restart until you got finally get it.
Such good advice from all of you. Thank you all. We have a question in the Q&A feature, and it's from Amar. Amar is actually a Ciena employee, and he also likely reviewed some of your projects. So Amar, let me know if you want to jump off mute at any time. I can make you a panelist. Okay, great. Let me give me a few seconds and I'll promote you as a panelist. And you should be able to unmute at that point. Might have to accept the invite. I think you should be able to unmute now, Amar.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Sorry, guys, just had a little bit of an audio issue. But yeah, no, I was just sitting here listening to all these projects. They're amazing. I think I speak for everybody when I say this was way more well thought out than I pictured when I was in high school and what I was capable of. So no, it's really, really awesome to see these great projects. My question kind of is more towards how to make these applicable to everybody in the world, because oftentimes the most useful for humanity, let's say, aren't the things that are implemented in our day-to-day. Rather, it's things that cost the least or things that are more convenient for everybody. So I'm wondering how you guys would go about to spread the message, not just in terms of the message itself, but how to apply these things to everybody so that they can kind of incorporate these things in their day-to-day. So how would you market your project essentially for everybody to adapt or adopt into their daily use?
Thank you, Mr. Amar. That was a very good question, but we have a lot of social media for our team that would help us spread the word across. And like now, we always present to different people, and that would also get the word across. Now we need to start making this change. Not only can we make a new truck, but other people can start working on this. For instance, we're doing research, and Walmart they're already trying to start a fully electric semi truck, and that gave us a little bit of more inspiration for our truck. And it's really going to help us out with spreading the word across and getting more people to use it.
Awesome. That's a great answer. So I guess social media is often seen as a negative thing these days, but it's really nice that you guys are thinking of kind of using it to your advantage here. Any other groups? Feel free to jump in here.
Another thing that we also like about a lot of our systems that we presented today is that not all of it is exactly stable where you put it and then you don't move it again. We can also use a lot of these systems in other places. For example, for the mobile aquaponics system, we have our truck here that can move around and with our aquaponic system, and this way hopefully if we were to drive this around, take it to other people, it should be able to create awareness because of how we were able to feed people with the same aquaponic system in multiple places. So we think that another way of being able to spread the word about these projects is hopefully using other systems and taking advantage the fact about people going around and talking about things that might help others.
Great. So you're using the advantage of the portability of your project, I guess, to kind of spread the word in a faster way, which is awesome. Thank you, guys.
Wonderful. Would any of the other panelists like to respond? Peak to peak, or our team in Colombia or Peru?
We
Our team,
have
yeah.
been really we've been like encouraging other schools in Colorado to also host tree summits and make change in their schools. And I think there was 2 other schools that did plant trees. We went to another tree summit. And we've also been making good use of like we're gonna put QR codes out where we're planting the trees so that anyone can see our data and anyone can look at what we're doing and maybe be encouraged to do something of their own.
Very cool. Thank you so much for this great question, Omar. I'm sure if they haven't thought about it already, they will start thinking about how they can market their ideas to be more public. We also have some time for students to ask each other questions about your projects. So we can leave some time open for that if you guys have any questions about each other's projects, things you want to share, or just any feedback.
I have a question for Peak to Peak. What gave you the inspiration to start your project?
Well, we've been working with nature-based climate solutions for a while now, and recently we had someone from Boulder County reach out, from the Tree Trust, reach out to see if we had any ideas to help plant trees within our county, in our community. And so he really inspired us to start this. But once we got started, we really liked building community through trees. So we just kept on building off of that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any of the other? You guys take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much, and
Bye-bye.
great
Thank you so
job to
much.
everyone.
Yes, thank you. Great job, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.